Welcome, crypto fam, to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. As you can see, we're correcting down 5,000 on the day. But the silver lining is there's a new record Bitcoin hash rate. And as you know, the pretty little bitty follows the hash rate. So new all-time highs in play. We'll also be discussing Alabama. Minnesota lawmakers join the U.S. states for pushing for the Bitcoin reserves, as well as breaking news. Asset management giant Fidelity introduces retirement accounts with minimal fee, crypto investing. Ultimately, the accounts allow for buying and selling Bitcoin, Ether, and Litecoin under a 1% spread fee. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin at risk of institutional capture, warns Jack Dorsey. We'll also be discussing 180,000 Bitcoin price action incoming within the next year, predicts investor Dan Tapiero. I'll be breaking down his forecast and timeline. In breaking news, Larry Fink says Bitcoin could replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency because of the national debt. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. Welcome everyone to the live stream. Shout out Harry Balls. Happy Topless Taco Thursdays. Everyone, let's go. Shout out Crypto Surge. Good afternoon, everyone. JB, what to do? The date's April 14th. Bukele to the White House. It is official. Bukele is coming to the White House. Bitcoin country, represent. Shout out to the Groovy Shoe and Sweet Bitty McGee. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Give it up for your one and only chairman of the SEC, Nippinator. Good evening, Chris. Welcome. Shout out Chandy 10 Music, the one and only. Shout out Stampede Gaming. Like it, get her up. Let her rip, Tater Chip. Mr. Bone Daddy, BTFD, Nippinator's getting comfortable in the bed. You know what time it is. Bitcoin pulling off a nice little correction. We dropped under 82, as you can see on your screen. Correction of over 5,200 on the day. Great buying opportunity. That's the bottom signal right there. Nippinator indicator, stack thy bitty. DJ Wednesday, big ups, brother. Welcome to the live stream. I'm ready for the Bitcoin pumpy pump. Shout out Overkill. And this is a try stream. As you guys know, I stream live each and every day via X, Rumble, and YouTube. And I'm going to go ahead and pin the stream at the top of the X profile. All comments and quotes will get reposted in real time. And it is now official. The today's stream pinned at the very top. You notice I'm rocking the blue shirt with the fake pocket. Yep, it's a fake pocket, just to trick you guys. And of course, I got the Bitcoin country cap on today, representing Bitcoin country. And shout out Trevor Fay. Anyone who comments or quotes the stream will get reposted and shouted out. Best Crypto News channel is live right now. Thank you so much. Shout out SS. Pretty little bitty going up forever, Laura. You nailed it. Appreciate that. Chandy 10, of course, you're the bomb diggity, the greatest of the greatest. Live in 4 minutes. We are officially live. And yeah, welcome everyone joining us. Good to have you guys here. Lots to share as always. Minimal time. I don't have 2 hours to stick around. My daughter has a soccer game, so I'm going to just do an hour show today. Strictly news. So we're going to dive right into things. Let me hit you with the theme music, sip on some ginger, and we'll kick off today's show.
Oh my gosh, it's finally almost here. JV is going to talk to us. Crypto news is near. I can't stand waiting. There is no debating. I waited all day, maybe I need a life, but Bitcoin is all I can think about day and night. Hurry, JV.
Welcome everyone to the live stream. It is Thursday, April 3rd. Markets literally got wrecked after the Trump tariff announcement yesterday around 4 o'clock, as you guys can tell. But it's all good. Here we are. The silver lining is always a great buying opportunity. BTFD, you already know what the whales are doing right now. Stack and Bitty, like there ain't no tomorrow. You got roughly a 30% discount from the current top, which the current all-time high is 109.3. Thank you again, Chandy. You're the best. And shout out, of course, Glenn Cooper, the rest of the CNA fam. Always an honor. Thanks for all the support each and every stream. Y'all are the bomb diggity. Harry Balls, thank you, brother. Just hit you with a repost. I think I got everyone reposted already. I'm just making sure. Yep. Bada boom. I bought a Bitcoin. And there we have it. Yesterday, we were like close to 88,000, yo. And today, we're right back down 82. Do you think the bottom is in? Or do you think we'll likely test, what was it last week? We hit 77 as the bottom. You guys let me know your thoughts. And again, welcome everyone to the live stream. Shalom. Tariffs. Yep, that'll do it. Negative 6%. Is Biden back? Right? What up? Shout out Michael Hicks. What to do? Good to have you guys here. Cheers, sweet Biddy. Looks like we're going to get another pack your bags opportunity. Shout out to the Oracle. Good to have you here. I just stacked some more sats at a discount. Good morning, Christian. Welcome to the stream. No pump, still dumping. We are going to 71, says Lizard Folk. We shall soon see. But anyways, let's kick this mofo off. If you're new to the channel, important, smash the likes. Go ahead, subscribe, and hit the bell. Turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto newsletters every single day, 7 days a week. Just like this. Today is pod episode 1952. I'm your fearless host, JV, alongside the chairman of the SEC, Nebinator. And of course, the market's pulling back here. We're down 5,200 on the day. We just went under 82,000. We'll see how the market's likely to react. Obviously, it's been reacting very negatively to the Trump tariff announcements, which were made yesterday, and all financial markets have been dumping since then. But let's kick it off with our market watch, as we do each and every day. You can see on Coin360. Actually, I guess let me share my screen here. One moment, broskies. Caught me slipping today. There we go. So as you can see, everything in the blood red. Bitcoin down 6% on the day, back under 82,000 after tapping above 87 yesterday. I told you guys expect extreme volatility, and exactly what we got. Ethereum, good Lord, down 7% on the day, trading back in the $1,700 range. Solana down 13%, XRP down 7%, Cardano down 9%, just wreck city across the board. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, broskies. As you can see, the total crypto market cap today, 2.62 trillion. The Bitcoin market cap all the way down to 1.6 trillion. We got roughly 128 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance coming in at 62% even, and Ether dominance at 8.2%. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. We have looks like a stable token I've never seen before called First Digital USD. Interesting. Leading the pack because virtually everything is correcting and in the red, hence why stable coins are leading the pack on the day. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective on the day. Jeez Louise, like 97% of the market in the red. Zooming out on the weekly, very similar story. And zooming out on the monthly, very similar story. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, I guess the silver lining, we're back in extreme fear. And as you know, the lower this number goes in extreme fear, the more likely of a pump. So you guys let me know if you think the bottom is in, or do you think we'll continue to correct even lower? Yesterday was a 44, last week a 40, and last month a 15 in extreme fear. And checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We have 159,280 blocks until the halving of 2028. We're currently on block number 890,720, and you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,222 sats. Pick up the sats, put down the gas, pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. And if you don't know, now you know. And again, welcome everyone to the live stream. We're going to 71, says Liza, Sweet Bitty McGee, what to do? Depends on the EU and their answer. If it comes, what I heard, keep your powder dry, says Laser Cat. I've got the fresh powder. Give me a fresh discount. Dump the eat. Cheers, bring facts, BTFD, baby. Welcome, Emilio. Shout out, Philip. You think the biddy will go to 75? Keep on buying the biddy and don't sell the biddy. That's what's up. Bitcoin, I want to see 69 in a few weeks. The epic 69 Gs, baby. Harry says, never sell your biddies. Never, ever. Biddy doesn't react to the upside with all the buying, billions, but just needs a bit of the bad news for it to have a colossal move down. Definitely some manipulation at play, and in fact, Jack Dorsey calls it out regarding the institutions. One of our feature stories we'll be discussing here shortly. World population is 8 billion. Total billion of 21 million of the biddies and stack day sats. Stack the sats. Precisely. And bitcoincaps.net. Thank you. Shout out my boy Sergio. You can get a custom cap just like this bad boy right here. This was the cap I rocked at the 100K Bitcoin Fiesta in Puerto Rico. Yeah, man. And again, welcome everyone. What to do? Let me know where you're tuned in from. There's a live and interactive stream. Already over 300 people here. Let's blow up the stream, make some noise so we can orange pill more of the masses. It's game time, family. Let's get it.
Oh, bring me up, bitty glow. Prize discovery, yeah, let it show. Bang, 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 like a B-52, we built a bitty.
Stacked revolutionary love shack. Blue stacking sats like it's
Jay Coleman says, need your help, JV. I got scammed by the farm. USDCETH. Lost 50 G's. Can you please verbalize to the community? Just did, brother. So I guess scam alert. USDCETH. I don't even know what that stands for. I guess USDC to ETH. Was there a particular platform you got scammed on? What's the name of the website or the platform? Would definitely spread the awareness. Be careful out there, champs.
Max and Stacy. Stacking sats cause tax is crazy. I'm stacking sats cause the IMF hates me. Stacking sats cause the haters don't faze me.
No Diddy, no Jay-Z. Stacking the biddy like it's Nipsey and JV.
Stacking the biddy like it's paper and Chandy. Stacking BTC like caffeine in my canteen. Life is a game of chess that makes biddies the damn queen. Stacking BTC till they cancel me and I can't stream. Like Biggie, it was all a dream. Now the biddy has set me free.
Going, let's biddy up, babe. Bang, bang on the door, baby, never let it fade. Auto house strong, yeah, we built it this way, no one to hold 'em.
Yeah, we're holding, never folding. USDCETH. I assume that's a trading pair. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's USDC, the stable coin, and then ETH being Ether. Love those opportunities to buy the downs. I'm right there with you. Rider well. Always a silver lining. Yeah, been getting the IRS notations that I owe 10,000. Be very weary. There could be fake alerts of people pretending to be the IRS. Trust nobody, verify everything. You know the motto. And only keep on the exchanges at the end of the day what you can afford to lose. A lot of scammers out there, unfortunately. Shout out my boy Sergio. Appreciate your support, brother. Correct, JV. Thank you, Sweet Biddy, for the confirmation. But anyways, let's dive right into our TA today because I don't really have any time to waste. Here's a little technical analysis, aka astrology for the broskies. And as I always promise, we'll pull up some of the live charts. Bitcoin price risks a drop to 71,000 as the Trump tariffs hurt U.S. businesses. That's right. Bitcoin faces a very high risk condition for the U.S. trade tariffs, which can spark a slump all the way down to 71,000, as per Charles Edwards of Capriole Investments. As you know, Bitcoin reacted noticeably worse than the U.S. stocks after Trump announced worldwide reciprocal trade tariffs yesterday. Bitcoin fell 8.5% on the day, while the S&P managed to end the Wall Street trading session 0.7% higher. Edwards said the U.S. business expectations reflecting the type of uncertainty seen only 3 times since the turn of the millennium, quoting the analyst here. Consider this, as tariffs come in higher than expected. The Philly Fed Business Outlook Survey is showing expectations today comparable to 2000, 2008, and 2022. The chart you can see on your screen showed Philadelphia's Fed Business Outlook Survey back under 15 for the first time since the start of last year. In late 2022 was the pit of the most recent crypto bear market when we bottomed at 15,600. Now, in Capriole's latest market update, Edwards acknowledged that this data can produce unreliable signals regarding market sentiment, but argued that it should not be ignored. Quoting him here, while no guarantee of the future outlook, this metric does have fake signals or false signals. This is a data reading we have had before at very high risk zones back in the year 2000, 2008, and 2022, telling us to keep a very open mind, especially if the tariff war escalates significantly beyond the current expectations or the corporate margins start to fall. For Bitcoin, a key level to watch in the tariff aftermath is 91 Gs. That's right, suggesting the U.S. macroeconomic moves would decide the ultimate technical trend from here. All else equal, a daily close above 91 Gs would be the start of a bullish reclaim. And also failing that, a dip all the way down to 71,000 could be in play, which would likely see a sizable bounce. Come on, bounce. Pretty little bitty. Now, the silver lining for crypto and risk assets could come in the form of increasing global liquidity in the U.S. The Fed has already begun to loosen the tight financial policy with bets on a return of the so-called QE. And as I shared in yesterday's stream, Arthur Hayes just blazed, projecting we still hit 250,000 before the end of the year due to these macroeconomic conditions. But I do want to share some of the live charts, but I also want to remind you the silver lining, new record Bitcoin hash rate, pretty little bitty. Price always follows the hash rate. That's the key indicator we want to look at. So it's a good sign. Bitcoin continuing to do its thing. And let's pull up some of the live charts for the broskies, of course, here, and the bitty baddies holding it down. You should be able to see here on your screen live action chart Jackson. 10-minute chart on your screen via Coinbase, via TradingView. Obviously, we got some sideways trading action. We do have a bear target on the radar, a bearish pennant sitting just shy of 77 Gs. So that's why some of the analysts are calling for a correction down there. You guys let me know your thoughts. Zooming out to the hourly chart. As you can see, we do have a bull target in the orange sitting at 96.5, and then a couple of bear targets, one at 79 and one all the way down at roughly 73.5. Zooming out from the hourly, we take a look at the 4-hour chart. And a lot of action here, rising wedge formation, a few bull targets, the Super Bull 113.7, which would take us back to price discovery. We also have a bull target in the red sitting at 105.5 and one in the orange sitting at 96.5 and a couple of bears, one at 79 and one all the way down at 73. Zooming out from the 4-hour, taking a look at a daily chart. You can see big red candle formed for yesterday and already a red candle forming today. The day before, we finally had a nice green pump. 2 bull targets scenarios, one sitting at 113 and one sitting at 113.7. And again, that takes us back to price discovery, and a couple of bear scenarios as well. Zooming out from the daily, we take a look at the weekly, and the weekly, unfortunately, is already forming a red candle. Last week was a red candle. The week before that and the 2 previous weeks before that were 2 green itty bitty candles. Then before that, we had the big bearish candle that took us to the current bottom. And we still have silver lining here, cup and handle target on the screen, sitting at 124,000 here on the weekly chart, and we still have a few days until the weekly close on Sunday. And zooming out on the monthly, thus far, April has been a bit disappointing. Clearly, the tariff news did not help, obviously. But we'll see how we play out. The month is early, and again, this is the first month of Q2, now that Q1 is in the books. And there you have it, family. Let me know your thoughts before we dive into the state adoption of Alabama and Minnesota passing some favorable Bitcoin adoption laws. Good reason to get rid of the IRS. Let's audit the IRS. People liquidating the biddy to cover the edging in the stocks, says Coach Leon. Several countries already been bent to knee to the U.S., Australia, Canada, and several Central Asian countries are already talking. Bitcoin for the world reserve. Now you're speaking my language, crack knee. I'll strike the gong for that, and welcome all the broskies and baddies for holding it down here. Appreciate y'all. I continue to see we are going to 60 Gs. Wow. I mean, it's crazy. It feels like deja vu because we've been stuck in the 60s last year for a very long time. I remember we always played the 60 G song. Remember the lyrics? Who cares about a roaring kitty, a boring giddy? Not me. I'm for the bitty. I'm for the nippinator. I'm for Nipsey, not for the weirdo Kit Kat Kitty. We might have to bring back the 70s jam and the 60s jam. Wild, right? Insane in the membrane, Cypress Hill once said. Over 500 people on the stream. Welcome, everybody. Good to have everyone here. All comments and quotes of the stream on X will get reposted. Thank you so much, JCO, the best show on Bitcoin out there. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Landy Taylor. And again, Sergio, appreciate it. JC Ice and the rest of the fam, thanks for all the love. Going to take another sip of the ginger. And again, welcome everyone. This is live and interactive, but the live and interactiveness is coming from the tube, which is where the comment stream comes from. If you don't know, the direct YouTube link is cryptonewsalerts.net. 60 this summer, but I think we recover now to 94 Gs. Time will tell, man. Time will tell. Wildness.
Yeah, we're holding, never folding.
I've always been a rapper, honky cracker, but now I'm a pastor, Bitcoin stacker. Now I'm a master of the Bitcoin standard.
Hit them up faster than the Bitcoin panda. They can't touch me with their shitcoin flow. Like, do they even Bitcoin, bro? Let me know. Salam, my beloved Bitcoiners. May Allah increase our sats and biddies. Hallelujah. Thank you. Appreciate the love, Dr. Satoshi, and appreciate you tuned in here today. But without further ado, let's continue with our next story. We've got to breeze through the news here today. Next headline here, Alabama, Minnesota lawmakers join the U.S. states pushing for the Bitcoin reserves. It seems like practically every state is pushing for this, which is a good sign. Lawmakers in the U.S. states of Minnesota and Alabama filed companion bills to identical existing bills that, if passed into law, would allow each state to buy the biddy. That's right. The Minnesota Bitcoin Act, HF 2946, was introduced to the state's House by Republican Representative Bernie Perryman on April 1st, following an identical bill introduced on March 17th by GOP State Senator Jeremy Miller. Let's go. Meanwhile, the same day in Alabama, Republican State Senator Billy Barfoot introduced Senate Bill 283. And you pick up, I got my Alabama accent. While a bipartisan group of representatives led by Republican Mike Shaw filed the identical House Bill of 482, which allows for the state to invest in the crypto but essentially limits it to Bitcoin. Smart. Now, twin Alabama bills don't explicitly name Bitcoin. Minnesota Bitcoin Act would allow the state's investment board to invest in state assets in Bitcoin and other cryptos to permit state employees to add crypto to retirement accounts. It would also exempt crypto gains from the state income taxes and give residents the option to pay state taxes and fees with Bitcoin. As updated here, Alabama Update, a second Bitcoin reserve bill, was introduced today into the Alabama Senate, SB 283, in a companion bill to House Bill 482, meaning the two identical bills have been introduced concurrently to expedite the legislative process. Alabama, let's go. The twin Alabama bills don't explicitly identify the biddy, but would limit the state's crypto investments into assets that have a minimum market value of $750 billion, in which Bitcoin is the only one that qualifies for. Now, introducing identical bills is not uncommon in the U.S. and is typically done to speed up the bicameral legislative process so the laws can pass more quickly. Bills to create a Bitcoin reserve have been introduced in 26 U.S. states. That's more than half the United States. With Arizona currently the closest to passing a law to make one, according to data from the bill tracking site Bitcoin Laws. Let's go, Arizona. Now, Pennsylvania was one of the first U.S. states to introduce the Bitcoin Reserve Bill back in November last year. However, the initiative was reportedly eventually rejected, with similar bills also killed in Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. Now, according to a March 3rd report by Barron's, the red states like Montana have faced setbacks to the Bitcoin Reserve initiatives amid political confrontations between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Go figure. But there you have it, yo. State adoption coming probably a lot sooner than the nation state adoption. But what are your thoughts on that? And do anyone here watching the stream live in Minnesota or Alabama? Let me know. Country grammar in Alabama. Bitcoin is borderless. Tariffs won't work on it. That's right. There's no tariffs on Bitcoin. I saw Michael Saylor made that post a little earlier. Shout out to the Giga Chad. And speaking of the Giga Chad,
which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best.
I'm not saying I'm number one. I'm sorry, I lied. I'm number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? The point is, if you have the superior asset,
it's going up forever, Laura. Thank you, Serge. Appreciate the repost, broski, and shout out East Afro King. Much respect. JV back at it again with your crypto news updates. Come check in and make note, fam. This week was early streams all week, 1 p.m. As of tomorrow, we go back to 4 p.m., which is my favorite time to be streaming. I think my energy level's higher naturally at that time, and we have a much broader audience because of the West Coast folks. This stream is a little early for some of y'all, but I still appreciate you guys tuning in regardless. So thank you guys so much. But yeah, so tomorrow, just make note, 4 p.m. Will be the stream, and all week, Saturday, Sunday, Monday through next Thursday, 4 p.m. stream. And then the following Friday, it switches back to 1 p.m. So if you haven't figured out the schedule, that's what it's like. It's like every other week it switches up based upon my daughter's school schedule. I have a friend that lives in Alabama. Nice, brother. Who else is from Alabama? I'm trying to think. I don't really know anyone. There was a deaf guy I knew who was from Alabama. Very country dude. I think his name was David G. But I haven't talked to him in a long time. I'm posting an article on Political Brawl about the tariffs and a little bit of the history and a little bit of that. Nice. So when you say posting the article, is that over on X? Make sure you guys are following our Oracle. Her username on X is JCIce. And always feel free to put your direct X link in the chat. That goes for all of the moderators. We want to help support our moderators because they help support our stream. And feel free to drop the article link directly in the chat as well, Oracle, and we'll get some eyeballs on that for you. We appreciate it. Love it. Yeah, 4 p.m. I know works out for most of you guys as a better time, but it's good to switch it up because I know for some of you, you live in different time zones and maybe early stream is best for some of you guys in Europe or something like that. South Carolina's Bitcoin bill is in the committee. Let's go. And shout out to Oracle. I believe you played a part in that. So respect. Dakota says, praying for the folks in Arkansas and Illinois after the nasty storms last night. Well, speaking of Arkansas, first and foremost, shout out Chandy 10. That's where she's at. So yeah, prayers to everyone out there. Seems there's always weather wars going on in the world. If there's not the other wars, there's always some form of a war occurring, ironic enough. Relatives from Bama, country grandma. Yeah, I knew a guy named Tony, also from Alabama. Now I think about it, he had very country southern accent. Good stuff. Definitely prayers. Let's strike the gong for all of them. Bitcoin will be the world's reserve currency. The sooner the better. Word up, crypto McCrypto. Cheers, broski. For me, this is cool. Been listening to your pod through Apple. I appreciate that. Sebastian, is this your very first time watching the video version of the pod? And respect. Shout out everyone who tunes in over on Spotify, Apple. For those that don't know, that's where the majority of our audience comes from. We get hundreds of thousands of downloads per month. The majority coming from Apple iTunes. And we're also on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, anywhere podcasts can be played. So here's how it works. We stream live on 3 video platforms, YouTube, X, and Rumble, which is where we're live now. And it's typically a 2-hour stream. And then we syndicate the stream and edit it down to 30 minutes, just strictly news. We cut out all the chatter back and forth. And then it gets syndicated on every podcasting platform. So I appreciate your support there, family. And thank you for watching the video version. Hopefully you can get more value out of it, getting to see Nippinator live and in the flesh. OG back row crypto bootleg. Let's go. But yeah, next story of the day. Let's discuss this big news coming from Fidelity. Headline reads, Fidelity introduces retirement accounts with minimal fee. Crypto investing. That's right. Fidelity is worth $5.9 trillion in assets under management. They just introduced a new retirement account that will allow Americans to invest in crypto nearly fee-free. And ironic, I have a family member who does investing through Fidelity, and they brought up Bitcoin, and they're like, financial advisors like, we don't recommend the Bitcoin or the crypto. So it just goes to show you how clueless these financial advisors are, The 3 accounts, a tax-deferred traditional IRA and 2 Roth IRAs, permit the buying and selling of Bitcoin, Ether, and Litecoin. And while there are no fees to open or maintain the accounts, Fidelity charges a 1% spread. I think that's lower than typical because I'm told they charge like 4% spread on stocks. So 1% is a significant discount to buy and sell for crypto transactions, I guess to help encourage people to do their crypto on the platform. But here's the difference. My understanding is when they're investing in crypto for you, you're not holding the private keys. They're holding it for you in a portfolio. And as you know, not your keys, not your coins. So I just want to throw that out there. The crypto IRAs are offered by Fidelity Digital Assets, subsidiary of Fidelity that has traditionally offered institutional investors the opportunity to buy and sell crypto. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Fidelity, as far as the what is it called? The ETFs are concerned, they're one of the few ones that actually do the self-custody, meaning they're not using Coinbase as their custodian like BlackRock and the rest of them. But the broadening of its client base may be another signal of the changing crypto landscape of the U.S., which has seen the adoption of a strategic Bitcoin reserve in multiple companies, including stablecoin issuer Circle, filing for an initial public offering. Fidelity states that for security, it holds the majority of the crypto in cold storage, which consists of crypto wallets not connected to the internet. Now, while the direct purchases of cryptos in the IRA have never been strictly prohibited, few IRA providers have allowed such purchases, according to Investopedia. Therefore, Fidelity's new IRAs may signal a change in the environment. Still, for enthusiasts of Bitcoin and Ether, there have been other options since 2024, such as the ETFs. And since the debut of those ETFs, investors in the U.S. have been able to gain exposure to the crypto market from their retirement accounts, depending upon the brokerage. There has also been the rise of the Bitcoin IRAs, which are self-directed retirement accounts that offer tax advantages. Some crypto companies offer digital asset-specific IRAs, like Bit IRA, where individuals can add altcoins such as Litecoin to their retirement portfolios. The move to allow more Americans to invest in crypto into their retirement accounts may be gaining momentum. On April 1st, Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville announced the reintroduction of the bill to allow Americans to add crypto to their 401ks. The process would involve scaling back regulations issued by the Department of Labor. And if you don't know, now you know. How many of you have any type of exposure to Bitcoin or crypto through some form of retirement account, IRA, etc.? Do let me know and I'll read your comments out loud. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Forrest Gump was from Alabama. Jenny. Yeah, man. I would suggest watching Ryan, y'all, on YouTube when the storms come in. Is he a good weatherman or something? I didn't catch the last name. It kind of got cut off. Meanwhile, Fidelity is predicting billions in the next few years to Bitcoin. That's right. They, correct me if I'm wrong, are they the ones that have the multi-million dollar, or actually, were they the ones with the $1 billion prediction? I think it was Fidelity, and they made pretty bullish prediction we have covered here on the stream. I would like to know the type of fools who are selling and also who is buying, because that selling is really sus to me. Probably institutions dumping, knowing they're going to crash markets even further, and then they can buy it back lower and stack more sats. You know, people like Michael Saylor are praying for dips like this. It just gives them more opportunity to buy more Bitcoin. As you know, he recently stacked an additional like 1.9 plus billion just from a single swoop, 22,000 of the biddy. Pretty mind-boggling to say the least. But yeah, the institutions are buying. The institutions are the whales, and the smart money. The plebs and maybe not so smart people are the ones that are dumping to Michael Saylor right now.
Hit 'em up faster than the Bitcoin panda. You can't touch me with your shitcoin flow. Like, do you even Bitcoin, bro? Let me know. Welcome to the Bitcoin show. Now listen up closely, low-key, stacking BTC like Satoshis. In El Salvador with my Bitcoin broskies, raising up the biddy like Gohan. Living in a hodl house, we're not the pawns.
Let's biddy up, babe.
Bang, bang on the door, baby, never let it fade. Hodl house strong, yeah, we built it this way.
Know when to hold 'em, yeah, we're holding, never folding.
Bitcoin's dripping like a new Scottie Pippen 80 G's. We're royalty, biddy kings and queens, manifesting the kingdom that's finally come, playing chess moves. Checkmate, we won.
We're raising the roof in El Salvador. Freedom flows, IMF can't hold us no more.
Hey now, and again, welcome everyone, just reposting everyone in real time. Thank you guys for all the support, all comments and quotes of the live stream. Always get reposted. This is how we hack the algorithm, get more eyeballs on the stream. And if you don't know now, you know. I would like to know the type of fools. I pity the fool. Yeah, man, they're selling right into my wallet. Saylor can only buy the tops, adds the lows. Nobody is interested in his stock. Chris says, Bitcoin manipulation. Max Kaiser just tweeted, shout out the high priest. Price tells you very little. Hash rate tells you everything. And as I mentioned earlier, Bitcoin price follows hash rate. That's a quote from Max Kaiser, by the way. And he's telling the truth here. So as long as the hash rate continues to go up, breaking new all-time highs, Bitcoin price will eventually follow. So if you don't know now, you know. I made it. Welcome, Shortcoin. What it do? I have a prediction. Michael Saylor will have close to 1 million Bitcoins by the end of the year. You're probably right. He's getting close to 600,000. Middle finger to the IMF and the WEF. Amen to that, Sebastian. I'll be your Huckleberry. Hey now. Let's go. Close to 800 people on the stream. We're getting through the news here. Bitcoin's dipping like Scottie Pippen. And Hillary Clinton. F the IMF. Exactly. Well said there. Next story, broskies. Let's discuss a little bit of this institutional drama as per Jack Dorsey. And as you know, he's a Bitcoin OG. Bitcoin at a risk of institutional capture, warns Jack Dorsey in a 21 and 21 rapid fire interview with Haley Burko of San Francisco's Presidio Bitcoin workspace. Dorsey, the CEO of Block and former founder of, chief technology officer of Twitter or whatever, founder, cautioned that Bitcoin's growing popularity amongst other financial institutions can threaten the open ethos that gave rise to Bitcoin. Quoting him here from the interview, it probably harms it a bit, referring to the institutions. Yet he acknowledged that large-scale involvement is practically inevitable, adding, I think it is so obvious that we'll see more of it. And I hope that more people take on the principles of what made Bitcoin successful in the first place. Speaking of the emergence of institutional giants like BlackRock, Dorsey emphasized the permissionless nature of Bitcoin to be able to work on a money transmission protocol that is entirely open, that has converted the likes of BlackRock or these major institutions that we rallied against in the past. And now they have to turn their attention to it. And yet you still don't need their permission to build on it. Where else can you find that? Dorsey's comments come during a conversation that spanned everything from his early interest in the old cypherpunks to the projects Block is building to strengthen the core infrastructure. He highlighted ongoing work on an open source mining rig and chipset, as well as BitKey, a self-custodial wallet, and Block's integration of Bitcoin into Cash App. One of Dorsey's main concerns is that Bitcoin might end up sidelined if it focuses too narrowly on serving as a store of value. Quoting him again, I think it fails through irrelevance. Like, it just fails to be relevant to people on a daily basis. And according to Jack, ensuring widespread use for payments is key to making Bitcoin indispensable. Quoting him again, if it just ends up being a store of value and nothing more, I don't think it gains relevance at all. I think it has to be payments for it to be relevant on the everyday, warning that otherwise Bitcoin risks just not showing up in people's lives and slipping into obscurity. A noted Bitcoin advocate, Dorsey nonetheless believes that focusing solely on the Lightning Network, a leading layer 2 solution, could limit Bitcoin's evolution. Quoting him again, I think we can do better than Lightning, he said, clarifying that while Lightning isn't bad, it's merely one option. I don't think we just want to settle with having one layer 2, he explained, emphasizing the Bitcoin benefits most from experimentation in payments and other applications. Dorsey consistently returned to the importance of the open source development, urging companies to fund Bitcoin Core and other community-driven projects without exerting control. As he shares here, having some sort of granting ability to open source developers is important, praising initiatives such as Spiral, a Bitcoin-focused division of Block, along with independent grant programs like Brink and OpenSats. He also mentioned that emerging role of AI and its interplay with the Biddy, envisioning a future where agents could seamlessly transact on behalf of the users, is all about who you're asking permission from, he said. Development goes faster if you have to ask for less permission, and the setting of the interview, Presidio Bitcoin underscores Dorsey's belief in bringing real-world communities together to foster deeper engagement. Quoting them here, I think this is great because it is a bridge between Silicon Valley and all the energy down there, and Bitcoin, highlighting the need for physical spaces where ideas can germinate into tangible projects. And from building more accessible wallets to reinforcing the permissionless nature of Bitcoin, Dorsey sees plenty of work ahead, and when asked what single thought he would leave with newcomers, he insisted that nobody should rely on one person's word. Good advice. His included before diving into the space. Don't listen to any one single thought about Bitcoin. What makes Bitcoin special is it's permissionless. You don't need anyone's permission to build what you'll want to see. And there you have it, coming directly from Jack Dorsey. Let me know your thoughts on that before we dive into our next story with a bullish 180,000 price projection from Dan Tapiero. And then we'll discuss the latest from BlackRock's Larry Fink, projecting that Bitcoin can overtake the US dollar as the world reserve currency. Then we'll do a little bit of live Q&A. Don't be scared. Bitcoin falls to 70 Gs. When it hit 20, I remember it falling as low as 5. Just remember the reducing supply available. Trust in it. Word up, Sebastian. About the dips, I give 0 whats. About the FUD, I give lots of whats. About the other thing, fair play, Chandy. Whales are buying and they are waiting for the price to go down. Do not sell. I once met Satoshi Nakamoto. That's right, Scottie Pippen. You were 5. I have no F's to give, says the Oracle. My F fields are barren and I haven't planted any more. I just got 20 more followers on X today for asking someone if they were a communist. I love it. Stirring up that controversy. Shout out eGenerate. Welcome, family. And yeah, shout out all of our members of the stream. And members are always in the green with the loyalty badge next to the name. Shout out all of our HODL Gang members, MicroStrategy members. And for those that don't know, you can help support us by getting a paid membership for as little as less than 10 cents per day to become a member of the HODL Gang. So cheers, family. And you can also support us for free just by watching the streams. That does help. And just smashing the likes, hitting the repost, commenting, quoting, all that good stuff. So thank you guys in advance.
Stacking BTC like Tate versus the BBC. Stacking the biddy like BTC OGs. Stacking BTC on Lightning with no fees. Stacking BTC like Snoop Dogg rolls weed. Stacking BTC like Scarface with a nosebleed. Stacking BTC like Shinobi, nobody knows me. Stacking BTC like everyone owes me. Stacking BTC like Max and John McAfee. Stacking BTC, accumulating sats so rapidly, so happily. Stacking BTC so casually, no casualties of galaxies around Earth fallacies. Stacking BTC on a flat earth with no gravity. Stacking BTC cause Bitcoin is your majesty. Dong, let's biddy up, babe. Bang, bang on the door, baby, never let it fade.
Some new updates from Max, recent tweets while I was streaming. So let me read these for you. Max wrote, Trump has triggered the global reset. The era of globalization was a deflationary period where U.S. workers traded jobs for very cheap consumer goods manufactured in Asia. The quality of life was not too noticeably impacted. The people who fell off the grid were ignored or bailed out with more food stamps, etc. In inflationary deglobalization and reset means jobs, higher incomes, are coming back to the U.S., but the overall inflation rate will jump even higher. So the quality of life will not materially improve. The only way to materially improve quality of life is to stack sats. And again, that's coming directly from Max, just reposted. Shout out the High Priest. He also wrote 9 minutes ago, this text appears to be an opinion or commentary on economic and social shifts tied to Trump's influence, possibly from a perspective sympathetic to the crypto or specific economic theories. Let me break it down step for step. Very detailed post. I'm not going to read all that, but shout out Max Kaiser. You can check out some of his posts. I just reposted them both, so you can find them on my timeline. Shout out Panda the Prophet. And again, all comments and quotes of the stream will get reposted. Come chill and get informed. CNA is live. Greatly appreciated, broski. And thanks, James Moliette. Buzzhead. Buzzhead says almost all in MicroStrategy and Roth. And looks like Reg IRA, life-changing. Congratulations, brother. And thank you, Chris. And shout out Facts. Buy every friggin' dip. Damn straight. But yeah, man. Jack Dorsey, founding father of the biddy. Some people speculate he is Satoshi. He does rock a Satoshi shirt. Often. Bitcoin is your majesty. That's right, Mr. Corvette. All hail the biddy. Shout out James, what it do? And welcome, Mr. Corvette, to the stream. Let's continue with the news. Next story of the day. Close to 900 people here. Cheers, Sebastian. Make it the best. I appreciate you tuned in. Next story. Let's dive into Dan Tapiero's 180,000 Bitcoin price target within the next year. And yesterday and the day before, we dove deep into Arthur Hage's Blaze projecting still 250,000 price target before the end of the year. But today we're going to focus on Tapiero's thoughts. He was just interviewed on the Talkin' Tokens podcast and says Bitcoin can go up around 112% from the current level during this current cycle. Let me know if you agree with that. Quoting him here, we'll head up to, I think, 180 Gs, which is 3 times the previous peak. In 2017, the peak was 21,000. Then we went 3 times that to 60,000 in 2021. Well, 69 was the top. And now I think we go 3 times again, which again takes us to 180. I think we should within the next year or so. What is it? March now? Yeah, within the next year or so. And over the longer period, the macro investor and fund manager says that Bitcoin could hit 7 figures. Now we're talking. Quoting him here, I think we can get to 1 million per coin on Bitcoin in 10 years. And I think it will stop there for a while. 1 million, 10 years. So that's $20 trillion of value regarding the total market cap. And on the Bitcoin key psychological price of around 100 Gs, Tapiero says, I think 100,000 is a number where people who have been long for a long time, from $1 to 100, from 1,000, where they're in their mind just said, if it ever gets to 100,000, I'm going to sell some. And I am not going to necessarily sell it all. But you can imagine if you've owned this at $200, $500, and if you bought in at 2019 at 5,000, 6 or 7, even if you bought it at 10,000, you're like, you know what? If it goes up 10 times, I'm going to buy that house, that I wanted to buy. So there is a natural, I think, selling ceiling that will take time to digest. Now, for how long? Weeks, months? Hell, I don't know. At least he's honest. Shout out Dan Tapiero. Respect, and let me know if you agree. I think that's a very bear scenario. You guys already know my thoughts. My bear scenario for this cycle for this year, 2025, is 222, right in alignment with Bring Facts, the OG himself. And my base case, base for the broskies, is 420. Happy 420 broskies. And my bull scenario, I mean, if everything just went accordingly, all the stars align, 1.1 million. You guys let me know your thoughts before we move into our next story of the day. Discuss the latest from the Finkster, Larry, BlackRock CEO. I am Satoshi. Well, that's something Satoshi would never say, Mr. Corvette. I think Nippinator's Satoshi. He's obviously not a human. Humans, unfortunately, are flawed. Nippinators, flawless. Just saying. And again, welcome everyone joining us. We're about to dive into our feature story, and then we'll do a little bit of Q&A. And like I mentioned, I'm not going to be able to stick around for an extra hour because I got to pick up my daughter, and she has a soccer match, which I'll be attending here in a little bit. But I will stick around as long as I can. And tomorrow, please make note of it again, will be 4 p.m., back to our 4 p.m. schedule for the new week. 225 is my bear scenario. Well, you're more bullish than my bear scenario. 1 million is the cycle top. Respect, Oracle, and you've been calling it for a very long time, so respect. I am not Satoshi. Well, now it's confirmed Sean J is Satoshi. That's exactly what Satoshi would say. It doesn't matter, it's going up forever, JV. Pretty much. I agree on the 225. Well, would 225 change your life? Yes or no? And I guess the answer is going to depend upon how much Bitcoin you have stacked, obviously. Let me know, family. Me personally, yes. I think a 225 would absolutely put me in a different stratosphere, but I'd still be streaming and I'd still have the same daily schedule. In all reality, it's not going to impact my life dramatically, but as far as like net worth, different stratosphere for sure. And I think I can speak on behalf of all the broskies here because that's practically, 4x the current price action, or 3x, whatever it is. 80, 160, yeah, about 3x from the current price. I don't have any. Well, same here. I'm just pretending imaginary. If I actually had imaginary fake internet money like Bitcoin, yeah, it would change my life. Kind of, maybe, sorta, I don't know. 150 bear, 200 base, 250 bull. End of the year works for me. That's what's up. I know Chandy started stacking the biddy at around 60 or 40. So I would increase my retirement account and my children's inheritance. Excellent. Shout out Juan Espino. What to do? I'd buy a Corvette, Mr. Corvette. I'd like to assume you already own a Corvette. Maybe just buy a newer one. Hence the name Mr. Corvette. 1 million would be life-changing, and Bitcoin would hit 1 million. Word up. I need a life. Bitcoin's all I could think about day and night. Hurry, JV. Precisely.
How strong, yeah, we built it this way. No one to hold 'em. Yeah, we're holding, never folding.
Bitcoin glow, stack it up, let it show. Price discovery, patience, game on, let's go.
Biddy up, Roger out.
We're changing the world, there's no doubt.
Bada boom, I bought a Bitcoin. For those of us who bought a few coins between 90 and 100, 200 is fine. The others bought between 60 and 75. Yeah, I dare say there's probably some people here who have been here, in Bitcoin, that is, maybe since 2011, 2012, 2010, I dare say. So we have everything you could imagine. Some of you OGs were stacking biddies at $1. Pretty phenomenal. For those, yeah, man. Older Corvette JV, not a newer one. The newer ones. Are you saying you own a Corvette yourself, Oracle? That's awesome. Yeah, the old ones are actually my favorite. When I was a kid, my father had like the 70s Corvettes, like the blue and white. They were the like most sexiest cars I've ever seen, still to this day. Like the throwback Corvettes. That's where it's at. You have 3. Jeez Louise. 3 Corvettes. Next level G shit. Some people stack Bitcoin, others stack Corvettes. Hence the name, Mr. Corvette. I would assume if your name was Mr. Satoshi, you'd just have all Satoshis. Heard about Bitcoin in 2013. When did you buy your first sats? My question, Sean. That's amazing, by the way. I didn't discover Bitcoin until 2017, but I later uncovered, my friend sent me a book on Bitcoin in 2014, and I was too stupid to read the book. And he showed me the proof of work because I didn't even believe him. I'm like, there's no way. And then he showed me his Amazon account shipped to my house. I'm like, get out of here. So someone tried it. I had some guardian angels trying to save me, but I was too stubborn, apparently, until 2017. I had to figure it out on my own. I ran errands and went so quick, my coffee stayed warm. What? Who makes Corvettes? It's Chevy, no? Chevy Corvette. Am I correct or am I off base there? I'm not the car guy, but that's my assumption. Chevy, right? My nephew just sent me an image of the Corvette ZR1. I was like, you are going to buy it. It's worth $220,000. Is it worth $220,000? Damn. Bless him. 2011, $8. And I bet you back then everyone was saying, you're crazy. $8 is a lot of money for the fake imaginary internet money. Right? Chevy is the bow tie company. Bow tie. Pastas? Bow tie pasta? Got my Bitcoin tattoo. You got a tattoo, bro? In 2013? Gangster, brother. What was the price action then? Was it $100 yet? Or probably less, right? Wow. And you actually have a tattoo of Bitcoin. That's phenomenal. The only other person I know with a bitty tattoo in real life is Bring Facts, the itty bitty titty. He actually has a Bitcoin tattoo on the nipple, the itty bitty titty. He showed up the proof of work at the fiesta. 500,000 easy peasy by December. Cheesy pizza. Cars are going to get expensive. 2015, it was $400. Wow. I do recall 2016, it was still cheap as hell. I'm a Honda, aka Porsche guy. Word up. I know you got the Civic and you like the Porsches. I love the Porsches as well. I think the next whip, though, for JV, it's going to be the Range Rover. That's the one I'm eyeing. JV, the fake internet money. JV, why would you trade $1,500 of the real money for the fake internet money? You're crazy, I tell you. I'm like, all right, family, I'm going home to print more Bitcoins. They're just like, this guy lost his mind. Bitcoin was under $10 per biddy. Wow, when you got the tattoo. That's wild. And if you don't mind, did you get it like on the arm? Are you glad you got the tattoo? Now, looking in retrospect, 12 years back, is the tattoo still in good shape? Would you have done the same thing again? Or do you regret it? Let me know. A lot of people say they got tattoos like 10, 20 years later. I regret it. So I'm just curious. But maybe because it's Bitcoin, you'll never regret that motherfucker. Just saying. We're all Satoshi. Exactly. A Ram truck for me. I don't need the sports car. I get in trouble. Yeah, I like the trucks now in my older age. I've never owned a truck. But when I moved to Puerto Rico, I bought my first SUV. It's a Benz. And it's my favorite car I've ever had. I like SUVs. They're perfect size if you have a child. You don't feel squished. And considering all the potholes on the roads, I could never do a regular car here. I mean, eventually I can do a 911 Porsche, but it wouldn't be an everyday driving car. The roads are too fucked up. I'd be too concerned about fucking up my whip. I am glad the blockchain does not print. Indeed, I wish I could have bought some back in 2014, 2015. Too bad I wasn't orange pilled back then. At least you are now, right? All right, fam, we just hit over 1,000 people on the stream. We're going to dive into our feature story. So give me a second to pull her up here. And then we'll do a little bit of Q&A for you guys. All right, fam. Now for our feature story of the day. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says Bitcoin can replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency because of the national debt, as printed here in the headline on Fortune magazine, or news story here on obviously on the internet, but nonetheless, there's another one from Crypto Slate here. The headline reads, BlackRock's Larry Fink confirms Bitcoin can replace the US dollar as the global currency amid the rising US debt. And I watched the actual Larry Fink interview where he discusses this, so here's some of the highlights. BlackRock chairman and CEO Mr. Lawrence Fink officially recognized in his 2025 annual letter to shareholders that Bitcoin can challenge the US dollar status as the global reserve currency. That's right. The letter explicitly frames Bitcoin as both a disruptive innovation and a geopolitical risk should the U.S. government fail to rein in debt and deficits. Fink wrote the following in the March 2025 letter: if the U.S. doesn't get its debt under control, which we all know it's not going to, if deficits keep ballooning, which we all know it's going to, America risks losing that position to digital assets like Bitcoin, which we all know will happen. The comment marks a clear acknowledgement from the head of the world's largest asset manager. I dare say over 11 trillion in assets under management. So this could represent an alternative to the US dollar in global markets. Bitcoin for the takeover. That's right. Fink mentioned Bitcoin by name 7 times throughout the letter, while referencing the dollar 8 times. The significance of the parallel frequency in Fink's annual letter cannot be overstated. A few years back, who would have thunk that Bitcoin would have been something that you would have bought? And who would have thought Larry Fink would spend as much time talking about Bitcoin as the US dollar in the annual letter to investors? Sign of the time, broskies. The BlackRock letter outlines the split view that while DeFi is praised as an extraordinary innovation, the firm cautions that its growth could undermine America's financial primacy. The risk emerges if investors begin treating the Bitcoin as a more stable long-term store of value than the US dollar, particularly given the ongoing federal deficits and sovereign debt levels. This framing positions the Bitcoin as more than a speculative asset or store of value and as a macro hedge against sovereign instability. I repeat, it's a macro hedge against sovereign instability. The implications parallel similar arguments made in recent years by institutional investors, treating digital assets as insurance against monetary debasement or geopolitical volatility. And the first person I heard use that particular term was Kathy Wood of ARK Invest. She said something like Bitcoin is ultimately an insurance policy against inflation and deflation. And as Fink emphasized, 2 things can be true at the same time, referring to the coexistence of innovation and risk in digital asset development. Now, BlackRock's internal positioning on Bitcoin is not purely theoretical. The letter disclosed that its US-based Bitcoin ETF became the largest product launch in the history of the ETF industry, reaching over 50 billion in assets under management within the first year. It also ranked 3rd in net assets inflows across the ETF categories, behind only the S&P. Now, retail adoption was the key driver, with more than half of the demand for the firm's Bitcoin ETP coming from individual investors. Notably, 3/4 of those participants had never previously owned an iShares product. So Bitcoin attracted all that to the institutions, suggesting Bitcoin is acting as an onboarding mechanism for a new demographic of investors. Facts. The firm also expanded its ETP offerings, and ETPs are ultimately exchange-traded products such as the ETFs, in Canada and Europe, signaling cross-border growth in institutional-grade Bitcoin investment vehicles. Now, BlackRock's goal, from my understanding, is to tokenize the world. So the next section here, tokenization position as infrastructure evolution. Beyond Bitcoin, Fink's letter advanced a broader thesis that tokenization could transform capital markets in ways comparable to the shift of the postal mail to email. Drawing a comparison to the SWIFT network, Fink argued tokenized asset infrastructures could bypass traditional financial intermediaries by enabling instant peer-to-peer asset movement. Now, BlackRock sees tokenization as a foundational shift in asset ownership, mainly through fractionalization, improving voting systems, and increased access to high-yield investment instruments. Let me give you an example of a tokenization of real estate. So, for example, currently, typically one person owns a piece of real estate. What if they tokenize a piece of real estate, hypothetically speaking, in Manhattan? They put it on the blockchain, and now all of a sudden they could have, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000 investors all owning a piece of that one real estate. This is an example of tokenization in real world play. And according to the letter, these developments could democratize capital markets by lowering the operational and legal barriers that have historically limited the retail investor participation into certain asset classes. The firm also emphasized the need for updated digital identity systems, citing India's model as a benchmark. And according to the letter, over 90% of Indians can securely verify smartphone transactions, positioning the country as a leader in the digital infrastructure necessary for the tokenized economies. The inclusion of Bitcoin as a potential replacement for the dollar reflects a material shift in institutional perception. While the mainstream recognition of Bitcoin as digital gold has grown in recent years, BlackRock's language points to a deeper economic thesis, one in which macroeconomic policy failure could accelerate a pivot to decentralized monetary systems, citing both tokenization and Bitcoin within the same strategic outlook. The letter presents a framework where digital assets are positive, systemic alternatives to the fiat monopoly tulip mania. And for policymakers, the message is implicit but pointed that the U.S. must modernize its financial systems to manage its debt trajectory to maintain its monetary leadership. And there you have it. And again, Larry Fink says Bitcoin could replace the dollar as a world reserve currency due to the national debt. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And again, welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. I'll do my best to read your comments out loud. Feel free to ask anything you like. Shout out Laserface. I appreciate the sub. Anyone who subscribes to the YouTube channel will get the on-screen shout out, and I'll shout you out and also strike the gong. So this one's for you, Laser. Shout out to the War Paint Legends. Tokenization is like having mutual funds for physical assets. That's right, Diana. Ram trucks are the only ones that didn't abandon America for overseas. That's why I'm loyal to the brand. They were loyal to their workers. Right on. Bitcoin holds strong. Hodl gang, where you at? Yeah, we're holding 81. Do you think we'll drop below 81? Let me know, broskies. And feel free to ask me anything you like. I'm going to stick around just for a little bit, but I'm going to have to end the stream a little earlier than I would intend today because my daughter's soccer game coming up here. Shout out Ricky Norwood. We got 1,100 people on the stream. We're still live on X, Rumble, and YouTube. Shout out Brian. The biddy is going up forever. Tune in to JV for the latest news. Cheers, brother. And shout out Glenn Cooper. Appreciate you, brother. Cheers. Yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts as far as price action is concerned. Shout out Edwin. Greatly appreciate the sub. This gun strikes for you, brother. You want the ADG song? Tell me if you prefer just playing the song or watching the music video. I can do either or. Let me know quick, and we'll play that song before I dip. You want a music video or the audio? Your choice. We number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I saw a headline saying Elon was going to quit Doge in 30 days. I heard that was nothing but FUD. I think even Elon responded to it saying it was FUD. So I'm highly skeptical on that one, Diana. But yeah, just guys, let me know. Video or audio for ADGs. We'll play the song before I dip. Music video. Diana says song. Okay, 1-1. Let's get a vote to 3. Video from James. Okay, 2-1. Video, you got it. Video incoming. We're going to play ADGs. Enjoy the Jammy Jam by Shandy 10. Brilliant video, by the way. I think it's my favorite music video of all time. Enjoy it.
sexy little shivers. We are the makers and takers, but we orange pill, which makes us the givers. Paying it forward, 80 G's not too late. Don't ignore us, 80 G's, take the life-saving bait. 80 G's filling our cup, we're dragons that slay. BTC up, and here we are at 80K. We slayed our way to 80K. Ding, I love the rise and the dying and the bitty pretty Bitcoin. November 2024, the highest Bitcoin price action ever rolled since the inception of the Genesis block. Pushing the way to 80K, no roadblocks. Hodlers are not surprised, not shocked, but bang, bang, bang like a B-52. We built a bitty stacked revolutionary love shack. Bang, bang on the door, baby, Bitcoin's here, we're bitty stacked. Welcome to the 80s and the 80 G's, 80 business. Don't be a punk while we BTC rock in the 80s. 80 G's, that is. We're a mix of aces and perfect tens. We're blackjacks, we don't bend. We hodl winning hands to the end, like Wyatt Earp, Eastwood, and Doc Holliday. We're outlaws holding our biddies close to our chest. By BTC, just try it, make our day. We're Bitcoin jocks from the wild, wild west. Know when to hold 'em, yeah, we're holding, never folding. Bitcoins are ripping like a new Scottie Pippen. 80 G's, we're royalty, bitty kings and queens. Our kingdom has come, we've been manifesting. We're raising up the bitty like Gohan. We live in a hodl house, we play chess and we're not the pawn. We're raising the roof now. Big bad wolf who? Oh no, he's gone, cause he was the pawn. Sorry, I'm big boy. We're built tougher than bricks, ready and coming at 'em. We're strategic and steady, no rush, 5th level ready. 80 G's on our way to 1 mil. The name of the game is hodl, take an orange pill. Like a squirrel, we hodl, we store. Peanut, you got a twisted deal, we're gonna hodl more in memory of you. Nipsey will too. 80 G's is exciting now, but a future memory. It's a USA saving, T-pump moment in Bitcoin history. Bitcoin is going up forever, that's no mystery. This roller coaster ride is not for the weak, but it is exhilarating, built for prosperity, not misery. Bitcoin price discovery is in play. Higher numbers are on the way. Just do your best, it is not too late. You will be blessed, have a little faith. Leave the rest to Satoshi and God. Think of Moses and the rod. Think of Satoshi and Free and Ross. Bitcoin doesn't have to be a future loss. Bitcoin doesn't have to be a future loss.
You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. Hodl, hodl, hodl. Study up, pray and think. Don't miss your lifeboat. Take an orange pill, this isn't Play-Doh. Use your God-given free will. Biddy up, make a dough. Price discovery is more than a name. It's a rare phenomenon. Bitcoin is a patient man's game. Fiat, dream on your yesterday's way. Bring me a bitty glow. But bang, bang, bang. Like a B-52, we built a bitty stats. Revolutionary love shack. Bang, bang on the door, baby. Bitcoin's here, we're bitty stacked. Welcome to the 80s and the 80 G's. Baby business, don't be a punk while we BTC rock in the 80s. 80 G's, that is.
$80 baby. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you got some value out of the show. I'll see you guys tomorrow. 4 p.m. Make note of it. I'll see you guys soon. Deuces.
I've got a pretty bitty feeling. 110K to 111K, get that dealer to dealing.
It's time for the blackjack jam.
Let's play. I hold a bitty hand, bro, stacking sats, no turning back. Chips on the table, stats in the stack.